Hi, I'm Maggot angling for you. You catch me still at the Oaks Lakes on this little mini series on the alders. The maggots is obviously what we're looking at in this three-piece series, and then this is the episode 2. So if you haven't seen that first episode, get yourself watching it. Today, what we're going to look at is if you've watched the first video, you'll see we've been feeding quite heavily a maggot line in front of us, and that's hopefully to entice some hide to start competing heavily for it. What we're going to do is fish maggot shallow, so I'll give you a little run through the rig. So obviously not too heavy. We've got a light sort of 8 style hollow on. We've got a little chimp float, 0.2 chimp float, and the line that we're using today is a Reflow 013 power line, and we've got a little bit of a bulk that's probably 6 inches down from the bottom of the float, and then onto that we've got no line, no hooks, no shot down the rest of the line, just the hook link, which is 012 with an 18 hook, and what we're going to do is we're going to hook in that maggot on side on, so it falls naturally in the water, so there's no suspicion there. If you hook it on the end of the maggot, it tends to, you'll still catch, but you tend to get an even fall. It looks natural and the fish don't suspect anything. When we're fishing these eyes, because you have to feed them heavily, they tend to go down in the water. So what we start off is fishing sort of to find, if we're getting them on the drop, then we'll obviously reduce that, but we're looking at nearly a couple of foot really to start off with. It's about 5 foot deep here. We'll start off with a couple of foot, and it'll have that drop. It'll have about 18 inches worth of a slow fall drop. If we're starting to miss bites, or we're starting to get fish taking it on the drop, then we'll shallow it up. But let's get on the box. Let's see where we're fishing. And let's go. So as you can see, maggots are simply the better choice today, and we're feeding it quite heavily. We're feeding it sort of very regular, every sort of 10 seconds or so, quite a bit. That's when you have to fish through the column and find out where the fish are. But the thing with hide is that they eat a lot of bait. They eat fast and they're very competitive, so you need to keep that feed going in there to keep that attraction there. So we're fishing about sort of a top kit plus 1 out there, but to start off with, we may not be at the right depth. We might have to find the depth. Maybe we'll get there straight away. So what we've done, is going to be difficult to see for camera, but we've hooked that maggot side on. And the reason we hook it side on is, like I said before, there's a natural fall through the water. The maggots will drop that way through the water, and obviously you want to be mimicking everything that the natural feed does. So it's at least top 2 plus 1. It may be 1 more. Might be all right there. Maybe just be 1 touch more. There we go. Allow us to get out. The thing is with when you fish the maggot, got to be just aware that obviously you can't flick it over as viciously as you do a pellet, because obviously you'll knock it off the hook, especially when you're hooking them side on, which is a little bit more tricky when you're using a small hook, I assure you. But you just want to nick that outer skin, like so. And then we can look at finding the right depth to fish it. into the first one. That didn't take us very long at all. Obviously, fish like these you can amass a good weight pretty quickly when you into feels like a nice hide. Just gonna touch deeper, and I thought that they were sat down slightly deeper in the water. It's a lovely fish, and this is the kind of the thing that we're looking to catch. As you can see, beautiful fish. That's what we want to target. Another one of these hides again. Nice fish. They are. Lovely fish. What you do? You don't need double maggots or anything like that to catch fish like that. Single maggot, side hooked, lovely. To another nice hide. Beautiful fish, that one. This is what we're after. These are the real big boy hides. It's up perfectly in the top lip. Just such a tiny hook. Let's try and get it out. Go. This bad boy. I'll look for you. Oh, that's what you call a proper hide. That's a lovely fish. Let's try and get some more of them. What we've had to do to catch these fish, we've just had to go a little deeper, and they're not taking it aggressively as they normally do. We're still using one single maggot. What I've had to do now really is the same style rig I've got before, as I've had before, but I've put a few shot under the float to cock the float, and I've put a telltale chop, so it's not really a traditional shallow rig, but it's I've dotted it right down because they're normally obviously quite aggressive feeders, quite aggressive bites, but they are there, and they are in a deeper water, but they're a lot more wary. Maybe because we're inshore, maybe because there's not much cover, another bite there, maybe because there's not much turbulence on the water or anything like that. They don't fancy coming up shallow. I've caught a few shallow, not the biggest ones, and I've caught a few roach shallow, but everything else has been within the 12 inches to the sort of 2 foot as this virtually is range. I've just dotted that float right down to the tip of the bristle, right down to see the smallest of bites. And then into another one of them. So they are there, but they're just sat, and they're such gentle bites. Gentle bites. You can see, whacking great fish. They're beautiful fish. They're just sat in that deeper water, and that one's just taking it good and proper as that one. There we go. Get that hook out. Another great whacking hide. This is the spot that I was hoping for. It's just about finding it out, and this is what I was saying. Shallow fishing isn't always about being in the very shallow water. I know that sounds a bizarre thing to say, but it's not always about being super shallow. Shallow is anything that's not on the bottom. In regards to, if you're fishing on the deck, you're fishing on the deck. If you're fishing not on the deck, you're fishing up in the water, you could call it, or you're fishing shallow. So we're fishing probably 8 to 10 inches off bottom, and they're just waiting for that bait to come down. They're not competing for it. They're just waiting for it to come down, and they're just hitting it as it gets to the bottom. But they're not absolutely hammering it. They're just tiny little bites. That's why I've had to dot this float down right to the tip, just so I can see these bites, so I can hit them. So that's what I mean. It's just adapting how you fish and how your rig's working in the water to get those fish. To another one. This one feels really good. Sat in that column of water, and it won't take you a long time to amass a weight of these. You know, this soon start putting some more weight on the scales when you're hooking fish like this. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to turn around and try and just run you through this change that we've made on this rig to target them. So we've gone from that 0.2 float to a 0.5 gram in the same standard of float. It's basically got the line goes through the body, short stemmed, but good bristle on it. We've dotted it right down, high visibility bristle. So we're going to come and see if we can get into the light. So as you can see there, from the float, you've got 4 number 8s, and then we're going down the line. I'll bring some there, and then we've got a small bulk just before the hook link. Again, number 8s and number 10s, and then we've obviously got a tiny little dropper there, just see it, a tiny little dropper, and that's just above about 4 inches above the hook. Now, effectively that's it, fishing it like a conventional rig that you would do if you're fishing the deck. But because the bites are so shy, and the fish there, you've just seen, you know, three or four fish on the bounce there. The fish are there, but they don't want it shallow. They're just happy and comfortable with it in that column of water that's sort of near to the 2 foot depth, which is just sort of 8 inches off bottom. And if you want to catch the fish, you've got to adapt yourself. You can't just think, I'll just keep feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding, and eventually they'll come shallow. In some cases, you do need to feed that to see that. But I've been feeding that an hour plus now, and they're not staying shallow. I've caught the odd ones, but you know, they're sat underneath that feed that's been going in. So the stamp of fish that I want are there. I've just got to adapt my style to catching them, and that's something you've just not got to be scared of when fishing. I put up another rig that's fishing slightly deeper, and I had to mess about making that other rig, but I mean, apart from that fish we've just got there, it's been worth doing it. Oof, we're into another eye then as well. I did actually see a swirl there, but I did actually just get a pull out of a fish before that, so I still think they're deep, and I think that the swirls are smaller fish. I think the bigger fish are certainly deep in the water, apart from this couple that I'm catching, which is inevitable. There's small fish around. You're gonna catch them. You just got to keep that heavy feed going in, because obviously the eye they do like plenty of feed, and that's when you tend to draw those bigger fish in, when you're using that a lot more feed. Although after we've said this, we've just had 4 little ones on the bounce. Nice one to finish with. Another little fish. When you're fishing shallow with maggot, it's good to have a shallow, a medium and a deep. And you see we've toggled one of the rigs around between that, and then this one's an even deeper rig. It just shows that you have to follow the fish, you have to keep that feed going in, and in order to get the fish there. Hope this series is enjoyable, and we've got another part to it to come next week. Thank you for all the support that's on the channel so far. It's doing great. join us in the Facebook group, lots of great people on there, angling for you. And then join us on Instagram, angling_for you, post those pictures, show us how, what you're catching, you know, tag us in different things that you're catching and different methods that you've used. Thank you for the support. Let's see if we can get this video to 50 likes, and please share and subscribe with friends and family. And this is from me from the next one. Talents.